What the heck? Where am I? Whoa, the door's open. Well, that didn't work. It's now time so you can sleep. And it's not working. But, yeah. This is, one-way prison lockdown, I think. It might, actually, yeah, it is. One-way prison escape lockdown. I was close. You do not have play one-way prison of 1 or 2 before. There is no story between this map. Rules play on peaceful, difficulty on survival, fixing blocks, except for cracks and bricks. No breaking blocks except for cracks, stone bricks. You may pickaxe. I think I've played some of them before. Yeah. Let's head out. Then it's night time again. That is so weird. Alright, let's go. No, we can do this. This may not Alright, we can do this quietly. We can do this at home. You guys don't scream. This is a big place. Woo, dance on the party table. Woo. Right. Keep very quiet. This the way out. This is so confusing. I think this is another maze. Nope. Not a maze at all. Ooh, what's this? History of... Let's just read. School all over again. Alright. History of Lakeshore Detention Center is a prison built. Pages removed because of water damage. I don't think they can hear us in the library anyway. I was Oh, found it. I don't know that one. I was forgetting something. Whoops. I can't fix that. Should have read that history book. Oh man. Alright, let's read this properly and I'll be back to you when I read it properly. Alright, I read the whole book. Not much information from that. And I got the book again. I probably should have just taken it with me. Anyway, nothing's in there. Holding cells. Story of holding ceilings. Escaped. Not escaped. How to craft cobblestone. Still in there. Still in there. Still in there. How are we gonna get into that escape room? He's escaped. Her. Him, I don't know, but it's escaped. No, that didn't escape. Escape. Here been. Escape. Well, how is the person in it? I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, guys, but I'm gonna break the first cell that I saw. I probably needed a pickaxe. This is gonna take long. Alright, well, I just broke that. 2 beds in here. And now to break the floor. Ooh, what's that? I hope like there's no police down here. There's a lot of redstone torches, I don't know where they came from. Oh, is this it? But I don't know how cobblestone is even still there. I think this is it. You're a guard. You're a guard. You're a guard. And you're another guard. You look funny, and you're a guard. You're a guard with... Never mind, you're a guard with things on it. You're another guard, and you look funny with a big nose. Oh, isn't that fun? The map is finished. It's fun to make. It's breaking it to me. Hope you had fun, and hope you did cheat. I didn't cheat at all. That makes it good. Well, this looks like a small map. I'm gonna go back, guys. Just because it's nearly the end of the video, and I just want to see where the Easter eggs are. And it did say that I could go into creative mode, / game mode 1. Don't have permission, give me permission, I have to ask my mom. Which one is escaped? Alright, do you reckon it's here? Let's read the notes. Digging stone bricks while sent to prison and die. Ooh. I think this might be the Easter egg. Oh, that goes nowhere. execution. Oh, I think that might be it. Oh no, there's another one. Whee! And that's cobblestone. Whoa, there's a bunch more. There's a restroom. Gonna take a nap in there. Use the tap to turn it upside down. Oh, there's so much stuff. The shower, have a shower. Scrub your bottom. You can eat food. What is that? You can eat food here with the door. Make stew, meats, garbage. Shoot. I'm not sure what's done now. Oh, I don't want to see that just yet. Oh, that's where the garbage goes down. Netflix. I can't go down. Holding cells. Oh, that was the Thingo place. Wow, there's a bunch. Execution. Zzz. Zzz. Oh, that's where they kill people. That's some of the map. You can go ahead and download this if you want it for yourself. This map is in minecraftmaps.com. You can download the map if you want and like check out all the stuff that's here. Whoa. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna show you for now. Dr. Magic Jr. Yeah, that is all. Ooh, what is this? Nothing. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for this mini adventure map video, and I will see you. You will see me. I always stuff that. Well, I'll see you later. Peace out, guys. Oh no, bro.